Look at that. You always find a way to cast a Zerg player, yeah. And Ryuichi, I mean, yeah, it's been a while since we've been able to cast Ryuichi. I remember him way back in the day of like Masters Cups and whatnot where he was playing random, but he is predominantly Zerg, isn't he? Well, regardless.
Protoss.
We're gonna be Protoss nowadays, yes. It's coming back to me. Anyway, we are going to be kicking off this new TvT Best of 3 series on Royal Blood LE. We're of course in the top right-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the top right-hand corner. We have our red Terran player coming out from the land of Korea, representing, from what I can tell, Clan NV, at least for the time being. We have Cure.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Royal Blood, we have his opponent representing Platinum Heroes, the American Terran. It is Vindicta.
Going up against the opponent he wanted. Or at least the opponent he was most excited about.
Yeah, there you go. He wants it, Bobby. He wants it. So Vindicta, he was able to warm up a little bit right in that previous TvT. But of course, this is where we have to mention things like Vindicta. He is going to be playing a little bit on ping. It isn't the most ideal hour for the North American players, but he's here nonetheless. He's going full degen on us. Shout out to the few North American players that there are, in the bracket actually staying up.
Yeah. There are actually a couple of them.
Yeah.
Ryuichi, we just talked about. Vindicta, obviously, over here. I guess those are the two big name...
Frost?
Those are the two big name players. But yeah, we got Frost as well.
Definitely. So massive shout out to, of course, the players that do kind of work against their own sleep schedule to be a part of events like this, and we'll see if he's going to be able to overcome the titan that is Cure. You just kind of mentioned it. Cure, he is still an amazing player. He's still got a lot of hype around him, but he did recently leave DPG.
Leaving after all killing CranKy Gaming, though. So... yeah, there's definitely still plenty of hype around Cure. I mean, he's being supported right now by Team NV. How long that is, though, we'll definitely see.
That's so smooch, by the way. It's like, he just all kills CranKy Gaming, world-class players. And then he's potentially stepping away. I think there are murmurings that he's going to be joining the military soon. So that may be the reason why, but he's definitely still in his prime.
Oh, yeah. Without a doubt, Vindicta, he's excited to face Cure, but it's because he knows it's going to be a tough match ahead of him.
Yeah, 100%, and we can see the openers here from both of our players. We did see that both of them did go for double gas openers, so a very kind of safe play here. We do see both players also going for 3 Reapers and 2 Hellions as well, just for that map control. Cure is waiting in the middle of the map. Vindicta is moving up, but no, Cure moves into Vindicta.
Yeah, Cure was waiting on the high ground, but immediately left into the low ground. Right in time for Vindicta to take advantage of that. Nice little bit of kiting here from Vindicta, but Cure will be able to take that Reaper. In the end, neither player has a Reaper available to them, but Vindicta, he did keep his barracks on the reactor. He is making another couple. He can go for a secondary scout.
Yeah, he completely shuts down all these units of Cure. He's going for a bit of a counterattack. What does Cure have to defend? He has nothing right now, and workers are going to be going down. Again, Vindicta came out a little bit ahead, or a little bit lucky that Cure pushed into him, and now he has the momentum.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to get around this Cyclone, especially when the Reaper is being locked on, but there may be enough Hellions here, and not enough SCVs for Vindicta to go for it. The Cyclone does retreat right at the end. And Vindicta is forced to retreat, but not before taking down 3 SCVs and keeping at least 1 Reaper alive if he wants to go back into the main base later down the line.
Yeah, very nice control from Vindicta overall. He was able to get the map control. He got 3 SCV kills, and now he has a small worker lead. It is small, but a lead nonetheless here in this mirror matchup. So great start so far. Of course, in doing so, in continuing, Hellion production and the Marine production, it does mean that he's slightly behind in his Raven timing and his tank timing, but only by a couple of seconds. It isn't the biggest of windows that Cure has.
Yeah. It really does depend on whether or not Cure decides to move out early, but I highly doubt that. He's working on getting his third base up and running. He's going to want to saturate that before anything else comes out. I mean, he doesn't really have much of a force to go across the map.
Yeah.
2 tanks and a handful of Marines.
I mean, Cure, upon recognizing that he lost a couple of workers and that he is a little bit behind, is being a little bit greedy, and he's getting his 3rd CC on location immediately after Vindicta left. So this is a very fast 3rd. It's in a very exposed area as well, but if Vindicta doesn't scout and he doesn't recognize this, then Cure is getting away with quite a bit.
He absolutely is, and he's definitely working on making sure that he's not as exposed as he otherwise would be. He's still getting his tanks. He actually got Vikings out pretty dang soon, at least a lot sooner than Vindicta, who's prioritizing a 3rd Raven. Yeah, had to do a double take there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is that 3rd Raven that's on the way, and Ravens, they do have a lot of power here in TvT. We talk about it all the time. It's all about outpositioning your opponent, and Ravens help you outposition them even when they aren't out of position. You just disable whatever you want. So this is a little bit scary. Vindicta does have eyes on this. Looking at his vision, he does also see and spot that 3rd base, and he sends out a couple of units to try and punish this.
Yeah, he just wants to harass that for the time being. He knows that Cure is moving out with quite a bit of force, so he does want to concentrate the majority of his units back home for defense. Having a 3rd Raven is really nice, but yeah, Vindicta's going to have to go through all of these Vikings as well.
Yeah, exactly. And now Cure, he's going to be able to just squeeze in here, siege up, and take control of the main base. Thankfully, a lot of the production of Vindicta is actually out of range of these tanks, but Cure, he just opts to land his Vikings. He wants to cause a little bit of mayhem here in the main.
Yeah, he knows he has a bit of an advantage, so he might as well take advantage of that advantage.
Oh.
It's an advantage so nice. He clears up the harass back home, and he's looking to reinforce across the map immediately. Cure definitely needs to be careful. He doesn't want to overstay his welcome as these Ravens of Vindicta get more and more energy as his Viking count gets higher and higher. Mm-hmm. And as he has this much shorter distance to rally his air units.
Yeah, and the longer this goes on, the worse it is for Vindicta, because Cure isn't just laying siege upon the production, he's also denying the 3rd base. Like Vindicta, he's still stuck on 2 base economy, and here we go, Cure's pushing in once again, trying to target down these Vikings. Vindicta with some disables is going to be able to hold on to his air superiority, actually.
Yeah, surprisingly. Yeah, I saw those auto turrets go down for Cure immediately. I thought, oh, Cure's got to win this. But those disables did do a lot to sort of keep Vindicta back in this. The disables, though, are on a timer. They have now run out, and Cure, to say he has the air dominance is understating it a little bit. He has complete... I actually don't know what's above dominance, so yeah, maybe it's not understating it. Cure is in absolute control of the skies right now.
Yeah.
Picking out this 3rd orbital.
There was some unfortunate control there as well, where Vindicta, he landed his Vikings and he A moved forward. They all went down to the tanks. GG gets called, and Cure will take game number 1.
Oof. Yeah, really great start here for Vindicta, but after the openings, it really looked like Cure knew what he was doing and was just in complete control.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, unfortunately, Vindicta wasn't able to scout the move out in time to really prepare himself and get in position. If you remember, the majority of his army was outside his natural, not his main base, to deny any kind of siege. So we briefly mentioned it earlier. TvT is all about positioning, and Cure was able to sneak out across the map the way that he did. Oh boy. So yeah, with that, we're now getting ready for our next game.
This time, on the TvT map, we're talking about Gresvan.
Oh, yeah.
Gresvan?
We are. As we are going to be continuing this series, Gresvan is next map. Also, are you familiar with Maverick? Are you?
I follow him on Twitter. It's as familiar as I am with Maverick.
Yeah, is he actually a caster? Because we're gonna have to be careful here. Something that used to plague the ESL Open Cups in the past, something that we have to be wary of is of course Korean bettors that do join lobbies just so they can bypass the delay and get some kind of advantage there going. So we do have to be careful with that. Yeah, we'll sort some stuff out after this game.
Yeah, we'll keep our eye on things, let the admins know and whatnot, see if we can figure things out. But till then, we have a game on our hands, and it is going to be on Gresvan LE. We're in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, fighting all the way. In this bottom right-hand corner, we have our red Terran player coming out from the land of Korea. He is the all-killer of KaiZ Gaming himself. Representing Team NV, we have Cure.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Gresvan, we have his opponent. We have the American Terran player representing Platinum Heroes. It is Vindicta.
Sporting that Maru decal, as he usually does. This time, he may have a chance to go up against his idol.
Yeah, he may be able to bear witness to his enormous presence.
Yeah,
live.
Those eyes keep. It's so milky. Faced over. That's probably my favorite thing about the 2019 portraits, WCS portraits.
The milky eyes?
Well, I was gonna say the players themselves look pretty intimidating, but yeah, sure. I guess the milky eyes is a big part of that.
Oh god, a little bit. Shout out to the old WCS portraits. We used to get so many of them. Nowadays, we still get some of them, but just reserved for the IEM champions.
Yeah, pretty soon we'll have that paint on portrait.
We should.
No pressure.
Sinistro. Apollo.
Sinistro, yeah, sure. Apollo. I was gonna say, I forgot the name of the artist. It's like Nick
true.
Something?
Yeah. There is an artist on Twitter, on the social medias, for that. But yeah.
But I'm gonna blame Sinistro anyway because he's in the chat.
Shaking my head. Oh god. As the game is getting underway so far, nothing too crazy. We do see Kir did go for a reactor off said Rax. This will delay his first Reaper. So, on the one hand, you could argue that he's going to have a little bit less scouting information, but it looks like he's not really too concerned about that. Just going to kind of give up that map control early on in favor of 2 more Reapers later.
Yeah. He's giving up map control now to get map control later.
Yeah. There you go, Bobby. There you go. And we saw how the skirmish and dynamic did go in Vindicta's favor to begin with in the last game. We'll see if he can somehow flex that again, as Vindicta's actually just rallying everything towards the bottom corner of the map here. Gonna try and be a little bit sneaky and looking to avoid the units of Cure.
Yeah, I think rather than trying to, recreate what went right for him in game number 1, because Vindicta probably knows that was more fortunate timing than anything else. It looks like he, like you said, just wants to avoid the units and go for a complete scout with his Reapers and with his Hellion potentially as well. Does mean that he's a bit more defensive back home, though.
Yeah, it does, as we do see Cure just rushing across the map. But again, Vindicta did go for a high ground CC, so his orbital is safe. Vindicta does see that, does confirm, and will back off. Meanwhile, this window for Vindicta is closing. He could have maybe gone in to try and delay this CC, but it has now finished.
Yeah, like so. Cure is being very careful. He could jump into the main base with his Reapers, but he doesn't know what's waiting for him. He just wants to potentially catch any units that come out from Vindicta's natural, but he's not going to find them, at least not anytime soon.
He made a lot of units, by the way. He went up to...
He really did!
3 Hellions and 6 Reapers. Ay, slightly more than we're used to seeing. Here we go. Cure finally shows his hand to Vindicta, and that should be triggering him. And there we go. Vindicta is now going in towards the natural, but the Cyclone is coming out in a couple of seconds. Before that happens, there is nothing at home to defend.
Yeah, only 2 Marines, but what are 2 Marines going to do against 2 Reapers and a Hellion? Cyclone now out, but can only target 1 Reaper at a time, of course. The other Reaper is going to make it out of here, and the Hellion might be able to get another. There we go, another SCV, another SCV. 3 SCVs go down. Vindicta has a slight little lead here when it comes to the workers. Well, actually not so much anymore, because Cure did get his... Since Cure did get his orbital command much earlier, it meant that he was able to start producing SCVs a lot sooner. But I will say that considering the opening Cure went for, I feel like he had to do more damage.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bit of a give and take, right? Where Cure, he lost workers, but he had a faster natural, so like economically, he's still in a pretty good position. What I guess we can say is that Cure did invest a lot in units that don't scale well into the mid game, like all these Reapers and Cyclones, sorry, Reapers and Hellions. They don't really do too well against Biotank as the game progresses, so Cure, he has to make something happen with this army. He is looking to at least contain Vindicta and pick off whatever units he can.
He has to disable, and he does disable a tank. Every single barracks unit moves on forward, and Vindicta, without that tank, is really hurting when it comes to defense. He's losing so many SCVs, our turret gets thrown down, but a nice little split up with these units here from Cure does mean that the tank on Vindicta isn't able to get the full effect of its splash damage. The tank finally goes down, and Cure, he's gotten so much damage. He's losing a lot of SCVs as well across the map to something. To this Banshee. Yeah, nothing shoots up right now, but I think Cure is more than satisfied with the amount of damage he's been able to reciprocate.
Yeah, we got a cheeky Banshee out here, and it is doing damage, don't get us wrong. It's going to be able to finish up these Marines and get even more SCVs, but the problem is that Vindicta is stuck on one base right now. He is hurting so much economically, and GG gets called. Cure takes the series 2-0.
GG, nicely done here from Cure. He does take the 2-0 in the end, but I gotta tell you, like, he looked a little spooked by Vindicta.
Yeah, a little bit.
At least in game number 2.
Yeah. I mean, I think in both games, Vindicta had his moments, like, especially game number 1, the beginning was looking quite good for him. But alas, Cure was so decisive, especially in that second game, with the way that he was able to just execute, and just go in with his Raven, get the disable off, and then break the natural. It was terrifying. GG.
Yeah, very nicely done here. I think we were both really thinking it a lot in game number 2, where Cure, he did go for a massive amount of Reapers. He did get a lot of Hellions. We kept kind of thinking, the longer this goes on, the more of a shot Vindicta's gonna have to, start getting more SCVs out, to start having more of a presence on the map. One Raven with a disable was all it took to really dash all of those chances here for Vindicta.
100%, mate. 100%. And with that, Cure is going to advance on in the bracket to face, potentially, Dark?